This ice cream truck is back. Nightmare.
Ice cream trucks, and stories that are too devious to tell. Podcast bringing you the entertainment that you need during lockdown. We're bringing
Quarantine content out here.
Quarantine content, ice cream trucks, and stories that you can't hear, but you can hear us laugh at them. That's what we know what the people want. We know what the people want.
Just straight inside jokes, 24/7.
Straight unexplained inside jokes for 25 minutes. This is what the people want.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get into the juice of the story, though. Try and keep it concise. So I was going to ask you about, obviously, as I mentioned briefly before, this is going to be a 4-part relationship bonus. And I thought, I rolled the dice and figured what would be the best question to ask Michael. And I thought, for this episode, we should talk a bit the notorious friend zone. Like, what's your experience of that? How to get in and out of it?
All right. You have to remember that with the friend zone, I'm one of the few people in the world to have actually ventured beyond the friend zone into a different dimension, which we call the cousin zone.
Yep.
Very few humans have been trained. It's like it's a secret NASA mission where you take all of these friend zone people and you train them up, and only a very select few are able to go into the next level of friend zone. So I am actually one of the most qualified individuals on planet Earth to discuss this entire thing. So the friend zone is basically when when you like a girl, the girl likes what you provide for her and realizes that you like her, and she kind of uses that. So a friend zone is kind of like a power discrepancy between a guy and a girl, where the guy wants the girl knows that the guy wants the girl, the guy has some useful traits, like willing to listen to all of your to the stories, advice on other guys and all of that other stuff. So you provide that service, and you're kind of given the sniff of what you want. So it's like, as you keep, being such a nice guy, maybe one day in the future you might get something. So you keep getting like little things like that. But it's basically, it boils down to a power differential between a guy and a girl. I wouldn't necessarily call it friend zone. Is kind of a bad word to call it, because I don't really think it's a friendship. I wouldn't describe it as a friendship. It's like I said, it's like it's because a friendship is like, I don't know. A friendship is.
I think it kind
of... Go on.
Remember we were saying, I can't remember how the point came up, but I was talking about mutual respect.
Yeah.
And I think you need to respect each other in a typical friendship, where it's like, if you do something for me, I do something for you. And it's like, I don't know, I'll back you up in X, Y, Z situations. The friend zone, I think, specifically is like, there's no balance. It's all a strict power dynamic.
Mm. There's no balance. It's all a strict power dynamic.
Yeah, as in like, you know how you're talking about how the guy has a particular use to the girl or service.
Yeah. It works both ways. You're providing a service to the girl, and what you get back. The thing is, in a friendship, I feel like there's a trade. There's a trade of traits. There's a trade of services. And I'm making it sound very robotic, but if you boil it down, that is really what it is. If someone's funny or someone's entertaining, someone's really nice to you, someone listens to your problems, someone has a really great vibe, that's something in that other person that they add to your life. That makes sense. So, like, for example, your friendship, your humor, your ability to tell stories, your surprisingly large bank account back when we were in school for high street food, were the things that kind of made you stand out from a typical person, why I would have been friends with you, and vice versa. The problem with the friend zone is that on one side, you're getting someone giving you traits that you can use. So the guy giving the girl the traits that she desires. But what's being given back isn't an actual thing. It's the potential of a thing. So what you're getting back is the kind of it's like a carrot on a stick being in front of a donkey. It's like you keep doing these things, and it's like all you're getting back is that hope is being kept alive. They're like, yeah, like I still talk to you. You know, I talk to you so much. Oh, and you're just like the best. You're so great. If I could just find a guy like you, you know. And it's just like little teasers like that, and it gives you a whiff of what you want, but you're not actually getting anything. You're just kind of getting a fantasy. You're in a friend zone situation where the guy is being friend zoned. All you're getting back from the girl is the ability to live out your fantasy of one day being able to get this girl.
It's like a pre-order. It's like ordering that Tesla Cybertruck.
But it's nonsense. It's just a way to take up your time. I think that's eventually what it boils down to. I think there was a Patrice O'Neill again came out a great word for it. It's like a time hoe. You're basically like a time hoe. In the same way that for a guy with a girl, if you call a girl a hoe, is for like the physical reasons. He says time hoe in the sense that you're being used for your time. In the sense that you're being used, like, I'm going to call this nigga whenever something's going on. He's going to pick up whenever. I could just say whatever's going on, regardless. Even if it's absolute nonsense, I'm going to pick up the phone whenever. I know he's going to be on the other side. I'll say anything. If I need a special friend to help me move some furniture, and I'm directly quoting this now, so don't give me any credit. He's like, if I need a special friend to move some furniture, I'm going to call this, my friend, because, he's such a nice guy. He'll move the furniture for me. Well, and then after he moves the furniture, I kick him out and then invite like some other nigga to the place and then do whatever I want to do. And he still has the idea that like, oh yeah, if I keep moving this furniture around, I'm making inroads. It's a long plan. It's like a 5-year plan, like what Stalin did, I think. One of them Russians. Some 5-year next step of 5-year plans. And yeah, if I keep doing this stuff, then yeah. But really, all it's been doing, you're being extorted for your time if you're in the friend zone. That's what's going on, man.
You do all of that for that. You ask her out one day, she goes, "Oh, you're like a brother to me."
Yep. Yeah. Nah, man, but for real, it's like the friend zone is just, in terms of getting out of the friend zone, in terms of advice to all you sad, people out there that find yourself in this horrible situation. If you can't, I guess the best quote I can give is, if you can't win, don't play. At the end of the day, you have to boil it down to this. Is this person really your friend? In the sense that if it's guaranteed that you will never sleep with this person ever in your entire life, and they're free to sleep with whoever they want, including, like, it could be literally anybody. In the same way that you could sleep, I can't think of anyone that you would sleep with where I'd be like, oh, Jordan, man, you went too far on that one. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. In the same way, like, that would be weird to say to a friend. So if this person is if you're in a friend zone situation and you're unsatisfied with the idea that they may sleep with anybody else and they're never going to sleep with you, then you're not there. Then that's not a friendship. Get out the game. Be honest with yourself. Lay it on the table. Just be like, listen, it's okay to be honest as well. You'd be surprised with how people respond to that actual honesty. If you've been acting like a bitch this entire time, you've been acting like a bitch for ages, and you suddenly turn around and be like, listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. And it's not me putting you down or anything. I'm not saying anything bad or mean about you. I enjoy hanging out with you and stuff, but I don't think this can continue unless you give me some ass. That's just how I feel. Like, it's just about it's not about how it sounds. It's not about, oh, you sound like such a bastard. Oh, you sound, it's just about being honest about how you feel. Like, honestly, I've been thinking about it, and, I just want to hit it. I'm like, sorry if it offends you, but we've been hanging out a while. Most of the time we hang out, like, I'm just thinking, damn, like, all I need is the right opportunity. So instead of being like that, just be honest. Just go out to be like, listen, I kind of want to smash, and if I can't, then I don't think this is this is gonna work out. I'm not saying it in a bad way. You can obviously go off and live your life, have a great life. I'll go off and do my thing. The problem is the thing that keeps people in the friend zone is this idea that like they need this person. Or that, and if they were to say this, they're so scared of the rejection. If they were to be honest and say, listen, I just want to get some ass. And then the girl turns around and says, no, you ugly motherfucker, dumb nigga. And then like your life is going to be terrible and you know, you're never going to be able to move on. You're never going to find another girl like her. It's that fear of the rejection coupled with the putting this person you're in the friend zone with on a pedestal that stops people from being honest about how they feel about the whole situation. But truly, if people were just honest about how they felt, friend zone wouldn't exist.
Yeah, no, that's true. I do think it comes down a lot to the expectation and that, you know, potential in your head. Whereas as soon as you like understand the boundaries, you can make your decision up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. It's funny, like I put out a video on YouTube ages ago about the friend zone. And I was saying like, if you can't get this girl, like my whole thing was like, if you're in the friend zone, like that's your problem. Like just leave, like mind out, talk to other girls. Because it's possible that all the time you're investing in this one girl is that you're missing out spending on having actual good times with other people. And I must have got like 20 guys like, oh, this is bad advice, man. I want to know exactly the step-by-step guide.
Yeah, there is no step-by-step. There is no step-by-step process. And this is the other thing as well. You have to remember, okay, so let me give you a little anecdote. This anecdote is probably going to get me killed. This is going to get me killed. But anyway, I'll tell it because the people need to know this, yeah? So, I don't know if anyone out there is familiar with the Medan family, in particular, Poole Medan. Poole Medan is, by all definitions of the word, I guess, a bad man, especially around in my ends in Witten, well known for doing whatever it is that he does, yeah? My first interaction with Poole Medan was when we were in year 7, he was in year 8. I can't remember who we were playing football with, but I remember it was me and a Chesner and a couple of other people. Poole Medan comes running through. This is back when he was still a joker, by the way. Like, he was very, like, just a normal, kind of jokey, kind of charismatic, like, innocent kind of guy. He comes and kicks the ball. I think it goes over. And then we chase him around the entire school, me and the Chesner. Or at least around, like, half the school. I remember the following year, I didn't see him again. Like, that's the only interaction I think I had with him that entire year. And I remember the year coming after, yeah, someone came up to me from the year 9 playground and was like, oh, Poole Medan is going to fuck you up, man. And I was like, wait, what? Poole? The same Poole from last year? Like, do you know what I mean? Because even though he has this reputation with everyone else, from what I've seen, and even to this day, I can't really be scared of Poole Medan just because I have that experience of him from younger. Like, it's almost like I know this bit of him that these other people don't see. Same thing with the friend zone, man. If you've been a bitch this entire time, yeah, you can't just suddenly turn around and be the man. Like, that's why a lot of the time there is no direct guide in terms of the guy's asking, oh, how do I step by step get with this girl? That's like Poole Medan being, how do I get you to not think I'm a bitch? Do I have to kill someone? Do I have to murder someone? Do I have to beat up 10 dudes? He could do whatever. He could do all of that stuff and more. But he's still gonna be the Poole Medan that I chased around the school. Nothing's gonna change that. Do you get what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So if you've had some experiences with a girl that put you in the friend zone, and more often than not, that means that you've put yourself in a situation where she's not really looking at you like you're the man. You're not in an attractive position to this girl. There's not really anything that you can do to change that in terms of just do this strategy, say this thing, because she already has this idea of who you are. And that's very difficult to change, especially if you've been in the friend zone for a while. You're suddenly trying to change this reputation that you've spent so long building up for yourself as basically a bitch nigga. You know, it's almost impossible to just change that from following some plan or some formula. Literally, there are so many, and this is what the holiday taught me, man. If there are so many people out there in the world, it's just too much of a shame to be caught up with one person in one situation where you're clearly not happy because you can't get what you want. Just be honest and get yourself out of the situation. If you can't win, don't play. Just play a different game. It may be sad. I'm not saying it's an ideal thing. I can understand why people are going to be upset about hearing that as the advice, because it's not it's not what you want to hear. You want to hear that you're going to have this magic, lovely, happy ending that you've probably imagined in your head with the girl that you've been friends with for so long. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt initially when you're like, okay, so I can't have that. I just can't have it. There's no way around it. I just can't have this thing that I want. And it's going to hurt initially. You're going to get over it. Like, you're going to get over it. You're going to get over it more quickly than you imagine as well. No matter who it is, you're going to get over it way more quickly than you could possibly imagine. And then you're just free to do whatever it is that you want to do. But yeah, there is no, if the longer you stay in the friend zone and you're thinking there's some kind of route out of it, there's no route out of it. Don't play the game. That's the route. Stop playing. Stop playing the game. Play a different game. Like, there's nothing you could do about the situation. You just have to accept it. It's hard, but you have to accept it.
Like, that's the basis of my video that I was saying before. I guess I cut out. All I was saying is if you can't, not to re-quote you again, but if you can't win the game, stop playing, innit? Just move to someone else. Or if you're happy where you are, just take the L. But yeah, there's no clear way out. There's no map for this.
Also, wouldn't you agree that friend zone is something that kind of happens to people who are inexperienced anyway?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I mentioned in my video a bit as well. Like, it's usually
yeah, go on.
What's the word? It's like if you don't, like, there are certain guys that if your game is obvious or you're more like sexual orientated, those guys don't really get in the friend zone. It's ones that are kind of shy, or they're like trying to provide the service in order to, like, bit by bit get closer to you. It's always those guys don't really know what they're doing, in my experience at least, that get put in the friend zone.
Yeah, because you never seen a 50-year-old dude in the friend zone. It don't happen.
Well, I've never seen a 50-year-old dude, man.
Anyone that's had a multitude of partners, I think it starts to sink in after a while. And this is just based off my experience, especially from like the going on holiday. I think it starts to sink in after a while that, like, there are loads and loads and loads of girls, like loads.
Yep.
And for any girl that's out there that you're in the friend zone with and you like her because, I don't know, she's funny or she's edgy or blah, 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 I guarantee you there's going to be another girl out there who has those traits, but the one key difference is she's going to think you're the shit rather than thinking you're just a bitch. And I think that's...
Yeah, true. It's all relative.
Yeah, it's all relative, man. Just like, it's like, and again, another good Friendzone thing. I've been watching Dragon Ball Z recently, yeah. If you're a Saiyan, if you're one of these Saiyans, yeah, and you're on the Saiyan planet where they all got super strength, super speed, whatever, if you're the weakest Saiyan, yeah, you're going to be walking around that planet, people are going to be like, you ain't shit.
Yep.
And then if you go to Earth, suddenly you're the craziest dude in the world. Like, you can fly so fast, you can fly, like you're super strong, because it's all contextual. Just like we were saying in the previous video, it's all contextual. So in the same thing, like I said, if you like someone out there because they're, I don't know, they're this and they're that, there's going to be someone else out there that's similar enough, but the key difference is they're going to see what you bring to the table, and they're going to be like, whoa, this dude's the shit. I mean, maybe. There's some people out there that doesn't apply to.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Results may vary, but...
Yeah.
Mad. All right. I'm not sure how much actual content there is there, but let's set aside like 10 minutes for the second part of the question.
Okay.
Of the video, sorry. I was going to ask you specifically about not necessarily Tinder, but like online dating as a whole, because obviously you've got some experience there. Like, I've always been like, I could never link a girl, I could never marry a girl from online, but yeah. How has your opinion that changed now that you're one of them?
Well, I guess I'll speak from experience. Like, so obviously I first got Tinder on holiday in Singapore. So that was in September of last year. And then coming back, I got Tinder and I got Hinge. And I used that in Cambridge and in London. I preferred Hinge. I didn't really use Tinder after the holiday because I don't know, I just didn't like it. I liked with Hinge that I could kind of find specifically what I was looking for in terms of, if you look at someone's profile, you get a little bit more sense of about who they are and stuff. So it's better to kind of link people if you're looking for that specific thing. So I use primarily Hinge, and I went on a few dates. Some were good, some were not so good. I did actually meet this pretty great individual while I was in a university through the app, and so I guess from that experience you could say that it works in the sense that you can. It's a good thing to just kind of expand your reach, man. It's a great thing to expand your reach if you just want to kind of meet someone new and see where it goes. Because I guess the only alternative to that is like going out and meeting people like in the club or like face to face. And if you're not like I'm not active in societies and stuff like that, and especially for someone that's outside of uni, that's going to be difficult to do. Unless you're experienced at just picking up chicks at clubs and bars and stuff like that. So that's going to be difficult to do. So I think it's just a nice thing to have if you're looking to go out there and you're looking to date. It's just it's a good thing to have. It can lead you to meet some pretty great people, and I know a lot of people that are in very successful, happy relationships that started on an app. So yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about the whole thing.
How come you didn't start before holiday?
I didn't really have any social media before the holiday, and
that's true.
I think that was a self-conscious thing. I think that was just not. I didn't really have many photos. I never really liked having photos of myself, even like privately, let alone on the internet for anyone to see. Like I wasn't a big fan of how I looked, so I didn't want to put my photo everywhere online for people to see. It's only when I was on. I think it was only on the holiday after like the religious kind of like gym work that was going on that summer, and like what was it? The new glasses, got rid of the pedo glasses, got some actual glasses, like better clothes, things like that. Where I was starting to be like, I can kind of reintegrate myself back into society. But before that, I was just like, I didn't really like getting my photo taken, and I didn't really have any good photos of me. So, and I had this I kind of had this misconception as well. It's funny because I've had this in uni as well, because all of this stuff, it was all mental. Because I know friends that are friends of mine that are like lower than a 4, and they're still able to use these apps to like devastating results just because they've got like that swagger about them. So but yeah, I just never really had that, and I didn't really, not just with the dating apps, I just wasn't on. I didn't have Instagram. I've never had Twitter. I really was only using WhatsApp up until the holiday. So yeah, I guess I wasn't really on social media that much, because I didn't really want my photo out there. You know what it is? I didn't believe. It took me a while for me to believe that people out there wanted me. Took me a while. That's the honest truth. And I don't mean in just a physical way. I mean in both kind of ways, in just a purely physical kind of one night stand way, and also in a relationship kind of way. I didn't really have any kind of belief that I was what people were looking for out there in the world. And so I guess I just never really tried to find them because I didn't really believe they existed. Took me a while for me to actually clock that. Oh my God. Like when you actually put it all on paper, like you've got the degree, you've got the gym etiquette. I think the tattoo puts my score up by like 1 million billion. You've got the humor, you've got everything, put it involved, and you realize that you're not the best in the world, but in somewhere in the top 5. It took me a while to realize I was a top 5 on earth kind of guy. That's why I never did it before.
I get that. I think for some people it takes a while to understand your value in a way.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think it's kind of deep. I don't know when I realized like I don't know when I clocked my source. It might have been Carnival. I think. Remember when we were walking down, and I think I was dancing with a girl, and some guy just picked her up and walked away.
Yeah.
And then like 20 minutes later, I see this short guy. Because that year we were like 17, right?
Yep.
There was some actual grown-ass man standing there with no vest. He's tiny, he's kind of chubby. I'm like, how has this guy got the confidence to do that? And I'm here like literally getting robbed.
Yeah.
But guys literally coming and picking up my stuff. I'm like, nah, I can't do this anymore. Straight away, no vest mode. Change the game.
Yeah, because it's all about, I guess. And to be fair, I guess you always had a bit of a swagger about you in that regard. You always had that kind of air of confidence. You know, I think back now to when you and Brendan had a fight over Fiona back in either year 8 or year 9.
Yeah.
The fact that you were laughing that whole time, yeah, and that you just clearly don't kind of care about that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think that kind of emotion is attractive. I think that's why the Brendan Fiona thing kind of ended. Like, literally, was it like literally a couple of days, if not the next day after that whole thing?
Yeah.
Because that's just corny. But I think the fact that you were just laughing, you were the only one that had a fight Audi car park where you weren't actually fighting, you were just laughing basically. I think that's the kind of swag that stood you in good stead, at least during school. I don't know about your antics at university, but I know in school you had that kind of confidence about you, which a lot of people didn't have. And I'm not just mean you as well. It's funny because you know how I spoke to, at one point or another, I was best friends with every girl in our year.
Yep.
So not only do I know about your confidence levels, I know about any girl that was ever involved with any guy in any guy that was ever involved with a girl in our year at any time from year 7 to year 11. I know all about you, motherfucker. You know who you are.
Oh yeah, man.
So I know some people out there. You'd be surprised the people out there that really had the kind of similar kind of issues in terms of not really having any confidence or not really knowing what to do in the game. You'd be surprised what kind of people were like that.
It's crazy.
I'm not gonna name drop, but yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That's basically why I never got I was never involved with these apps from a younger time, from a previous time.
Yeah, that sounds traumatizing, man. If I'm sitting here and I'm seeing these guys that I think are better than me, and then hearing girls talk crap about them, it's like, nah. if this perceived 10 is actually a 3, like me being a 3 must be a negative 20. Like,
you know what it is? You know what it is? It wasn't even that. I don't even know how to describe it, man. I honestly don't know how to describe it. I can't really describe what it felt like pre-16. I know, you know what it is? I just had, I guess, I thought that everything was formulaic. That's the problem, I think. I thought that there was some sort of thing that you had to do every time, whether it be on, like there's to be successful in a date, you have to do these certain things, and you have to do this, like, you have to go through the motions. So, like, I would always be like, oh, you know, if you're on a date, it's like, okay, so it's been an hour, you haven't kissed her yet. When are you gonna do that? When are you gonna do like the up down, left right combo that allows for this thing to happen? Like,
yeah.
Trying to figure that out rather than just like not really caring, and just kind of doing it doing whatever you feel like doing. And that fear of rejection as well. That fear of rejection is a bitch.
Very
you have
true.
to be, if you're going to succeed, you have to be comfortable with losing from time to time. You can't let that kind of thing phase you. I think that's where the weak mentality comes from. If you're not experienced with girls and you've got that weak kind of mentality, then you're going to have the mentality that anytime a girl is even slightly nice to you and you can smell like sex in the horizon, you're not used to having it often, so you can smell it. Like, okay, I'm gonna plot out a 4-year plan, and in 4 years I'm gonna get some. Yeah. So that's kind of like the weak mentality where it's like, I don't really, I don't believe that I can do better, or I can not even do better. I don't believe I can get anyone else. Like, it's almost like this person's doing me a favor by liking me. And a lot of people have that mentality. I think I had that mentality for a very long time. It takes a while for at least took a while for me to kind of get rid of that.
Interesting. I think I'm not going to go into it in depth now because we've already passed the time. But I think one thing that I find interesting is because obviously you mentioned personalities and stuff like that. There's no easy way to portray that online, which is why like my handful of stints online is like just had 0 success because you can't laugh on Tinder. Or maybe I should just put a video of myself.
I disagree. I've seen some of my friends have some pretty amazing profiles. You know Sam?
Yep.
Shouts out Sandbird, wherever you are and doing whatever you do. He had a profile on Tinder for ages and it got no responses. And he didn't change anything except for the caption. He changed because he's studying black holes, right? For his 4th year thing. He's doing a project or something to do with black holes. And I can't remember what the joke was. I'm not going to try and repeat it, but he made a joke about it. He made like a clever pun. Yeah.
Okay.
And immediately everyone just suddenly loved it. He like literally he changed his caption and then immediately got instant response. Instant responses from like loads and loads of uni girls. And so I think it's definitely possible to convey personality through those things. I convey personality through my thing pretty well. My profile's pretty good.
Mad. Maybe I've got to make a fake girl account and just see what the.
No. What you got to do is you just got to, I don't know, be honest. My friend actually showed me my favorite profile that I've seen so far. Yeah, it was someone who literally said, "I'm in lockdown. Here's my address. This is what I'm into. This is what I'm not into. I'm just looking for someone to come round while my kids are away."
Oh my days!
Literally just saying it as it is, and of course, he got a response. Like because he's just I feel like if you're not getting I don't think there's people out there that don't get responses. For everyone else, I don't think there's like something that you could do that's going to set you up with no responses. So I think what you have to do is you just have to be very clear about what you're looking for, so you're not wasting time getting responses from a bunch of people that you don't actually want to see or want to speak to. Because I don't know if you were talking about, but I reckon that's, if you're saying that your account was bad, I reckon that's what you must have happened for you. Rather than it being 0 responses, it's just responses from people that you don't really want to speak to or meet up with and things like that.
Maybe. For the longest time, my caption was "Don't tell my girlfriend about this," so maybe that's what it is.